Hello friends, welcome back to Quick Poetry Knowledge. This is Mehjabin. Today I am going to focus on William Wordsworth's poem The Reverie of Poor Susan. The poet composed this poem in 1797 and it is based on the daydream of a poor girl called Susan. In the situation narrated in this poem, Susan is forced to stay in London to earn her living. The girl dreams of her small cottage in the village. As she walks along the streets of London, she comes upon a thrush singing. The song lulls her into a kind of daydream in which Susan imagines seeing the mountain scenery of her home. She imagines seeing her cottage as well. This poem gives us a clear idea about the great romantic poet Wordsworth and how much of fascination he had for life in the city. At the corner of Wood Street, when daylight appears. At the corner of Wood Street, this is a particular place in London. So at the corner of Wood Street, when daylight appears, when it is daytime, at that time, a thrush can be seen, hangs a thrush that sings loud. It has sung for 3 years. So the thrush is a songbird found in European countries, and this thrush, which is basically found in the rural areas, this is seen now in the daytime at the corner of Wood Street, and this thrush has been singing in that area for 3 years now. Poor Susan, who has relocated to the city area, poor Susan has passed by the spot and has heard in the silence of morning the song of the bird. And poor Susan, she is used to hearing the song of the thrush. She has been hearing this song, she has been listening to this song for quite a while now. Poor Susan has passed by the spot. She is familiar with the spot and has heard in the silence of the morning the song of the bird. That means the song of the thrush. It's a note of enchantment. What ails her? Now, suddenly, this girl is in a state of trance. She starts daydreaming. And it's a magical moment for her. Enchantment means it's a magical moment for her. What ails her? So she does not seem to be normal. She is seeing something. What ails her? What is troubling her? This is the question the poet is raising. She sees a mountain ascending. The girl, Susan, she can see right in front of her eyes in the middle of the city of London. She can see a mountain rising. She's in the city, and in the city she can see a mountain rising right in front of her eyes. A vision of trees, and she can also see a clump of trees. Bright volumes of vapor. She can see the mist. Bright volumes of vapor through Lotbury Glide. Now Lotbury is a street in London. And a river flows through the Vale of Cheapside. And she can also see a river flowing down the vale. Vale means valley. And she can see all this in Cheapside. Cheapside is a marketplace in the heart of London. So, even when she is in London, she imagines seeing all those things which are familiar to her, which were familiar to her when she was living in the countryside before relocating to London. So this partly gives us the idea that Susan's mind or Susan's heart is not in the place where she is living now. That is, she is not accustomed to city life and she is missing the rural area, the place that she had left behind, her home. And as a result, she is seeing all these visions in front of her. Green pastures she views in the midst of the dale. So she can see green pastures. That means open grasslands which are meant for the grazing of cattle. She can see these grasslands in the middle of the valley. Dale means valley, down which she often has tripped with her pail, and she had often walked down this valley with a pail of water and a single small cottage. And in her dream she can see a small cottage. This is the cottage where she had lived before moving to London, and a nest like a dove's. And not only the cottage, she can also see a nest resembling the nest of a dove, the one only dwelling on earth that she loves. And this cottage in the countryside where Susan had lived before moving to the city, this cottage is her favorite place, and this is the only place on earth that she had loved. She looks and her heart is in heaven, and as she looks at all these visions in front of her, her heart is in heaven. She is in high spirits, but they fade. But all of a sudden things change. She sees things fading. The mist fades and the river also begins to disappear. The hill and the shade, the shade of the trees, everything disappears. The stream will not flow. The stream that she had seen, all of a sudden that the stream also begins fading. It disappears, and the hill will not rise, and the hill is no longer in a position to rise. The hill begins to fade, and the colors have all passed away from her eyes. And the beautiful colors that she had seen, all of a sudden, the bright colors that had come to life in front of her, within a moment all seem to disappear. Why they disappear? Because after all, this was a dream, and the spell is broken. The magic moment is gone. All of a sudden the girl wakes up, and as a result she no longer sees those visions. Well, this poem gives us a fine idea about how rural Wordsworth was at heart. Even while living in the city, his mind seemed to constantly go back to the country living. Wordsworth, as an intense lover of nature, is clearly evident in this poem. I'll be uploading the summary of this poem next. Until then, bye.